Breaking election news here for you with allegations of mass voter suppression of tradesmen contracted to work at the LNG Kitimat site. I'm Drea Humphrey with Rebel News with more on this important story. Rebel News has received concerning information from multiple verified sources who allege that thousands of tradesmen working for the massive LNG Canada project in Kitimat, BC, may not be able to have access to vote on Election Day this Monday. They claim they were led to believe that transportation would be bringing them to a site where they could vote, only to find out just yesterday, which was Thursday, that that's not happening unless you are a Kitimat resident. However, most of them are not. Now, I must let you know this is a developing story. I have put out my media inquiries, including to JGC Floor, which are primary contractors on that site. But because it's so time sensitive, I'm unable to wait for their answers to give you a response. I've already received a response from Elections Canada. They asked me a couple more things for clarification, so they're working on it. I will update you as soon as I know, but for now, this is one of the whistleblowers who, for obvious reasons, we will not be disclosing their identity. Here's my interview with what this person had to say. Can you let us know these concerns you have about the struggle with the ability to vote?
Sure. This hasn't really become a thought until recently, literally yesterday, when we all realized that we had no option to vote. Um, I can't speak for other sites and other provinces, but a few thousand workers here that were looking forward to this immensely really had no option now. We were told that we were all going to be bussed to the election or to the polls to go and vote. Come to find out that that's just not an option, or that's not how we're going to do it this year. We have to literally be in our own riding, which doesn't work for guys that are on ships from one side of time that don't get to go home.
Well, the advanced polling is over, but were you told, hey, you guys better go out and vote in an advance way? And was that possible?
No, for some people, yes, that have had time off, a few did go into the advance polls. But others, like I said, that have been here on lengthy shifts would be missed that. Wouldn't have had a chance to go and do that. Supervision here, who basically every day have just said to us, hold tight on the day up. We'll bust you all out. They don't hold on, stand by for more information. And, okay, no problem. And come to find out, recently that, yeah, no, they had no plans on doing that unless you live local, which we really have nobody to lose local. So to us, it kind of seemed what it was, sort of just keep everybody quiet and, don't rustle any bushes.
So they are only going to bus out the people that live in Kitimat. And to give us a perspective, I know you won't have the exact numbers, but is that a lot of you? Is that half of you?
Yeah, from what I know, a very, very small percentage, site-wide, may live in town. Definitely nobody that I know. So
Now, what can you tell us about what recently happened? I mean, we just had a provincial election, for example. Do you know anything about how it was handled on election day for that?
well, for the provincial election, like myself, I was in Alberta working at one of the, and provincially, they would bring the polls to the camps. So all the guys would be able to get up in the morning, go and vote. They'd show their ID. The pollsters would print out a form which shows everybody that's up for election in their riding. Then you would tick the box and away it up. Here in BC, I've heard that the exact same thing happened for the provincial election. They made it available for out-of-town workers to go and vote for whoever was up in their riding. But for some reason, the federal, this one here, they're not doing that. They have no plans on doing that, which leaves a lot of people, out of the loop.
Now, there's more than just yourself upset about this, of course, understandably. Finding out at the last, the stroke of midnight, you might not be able to vote. But there was, someone who also reached out to Elections BC. I'm, of course, doing the same with an urgent inquiry to find out what's going on here. What have you heard from the people who have reached out?
Well, we phoned ourselves and got quite a few different answers. To us, it kind of seemed like the people that were answering our questions weren't overly educated in the questions we were asking. We didn't get any, I guess, any formal answers. Example, the first person they called had said, oh, yes, your site administrator should have made arrangements to have polls brought into the camps. The second person we spoke to said, no, there's no way of voting unless you're home in your own riding. And the third person we spoke to basically didn't have an answer and just said you'll have to call in your local riding, which half of us can't even get answers there.
And you guys are working long hours, you're in the dark and all of this stuff. So how are you going to organize this? And I just want to kind of make sure everybody's following. You were told by supervisors you would be bussed out. It wasn't properly explained that that wouldn't mean all of you. So what do you think's happening here? And what do you think about, I guess, the assumption that many of you might be voting Conservative?
I mean, I don't want to get any conspiracy theories or anything like that there, obviously. But, I mean, this is when you're talking thousands of trade workers, our livelihood is going to strong you depending on the outcome of this election. There's no way around that. Yeah. You know, coast to coast, in all the sites, all the trade, humana. And the vast majority of us are looking forward to putting our opinion down on this. We have a right to do it. We have a right to vote. We have a right to say that we want to continue working, and training. But it just, kind of sucks that we're not left with the option.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming to Rebel News. We will do our best to get to the bottom of this, hopefully fast enough for something to change before the polls close. After inquiring, I received a response from Lori Jansen, the communications director for the JGC Floor joint venture at the LNG Canada site. To be clear, the voting concerns raised are not from LNG staff, but rather from workers under the JGC Floor contract on LNG Canada's project. Ms. Jansen stated that bulletins were issued to their project workforce regarding the election and voting options. The first of multiple bulletins outlined all the options available for voting in the federal election and was sent out to our entire workforce. She does not specify whether that was the generic voting information for the area or specific to those who are site workers. She also said it was stated multiple times that only local residents would be able to vote on Election Day in Kitimat or Terrace, thereby encouraging the workforce to vote while they were at home on their off-shift days at their local Election Canada offices, advanced polling stations, or by mail-in ballot. For the buses, she says that the schedule was released on April 12th and then again on this past Friday morning. In response to Jansen's statement, a worker told Rebel News that the bulletins and communications did not reach all the men, and that even if something was posted in a main office, it doesn't mean the general workforce gets to see or acknowledge it. This worker also stated that the only thing that ever came down about the buses until last second was that there will be buses and to stand by for more info, and that bulletins showing when early voting dates are going to occur is not helpful for those who are on schedule for 6 to 7 weeks. With that said, this worker feels like the main finger should be pointed at Elections Canada and questions why prisoners can have polls go to jails, but they can't have polls go to them. Rebel News reached out to Elections Canada to inquire about the concerns and ask what, if anything, can still be done to accommodate the workers whose would-be votes are stranded. I've received a response that says they will get back to me soon, and I have not heard back since then. Well, there you have it. I'm Drea Humphrey with Rebel News. I will be staying on this story for you. You can find updates at campaign2025.com. That's also where you can chip in to donate whatever you feel led to keep our journalism going strong. Happy voting.